Hey, this is Jeff Williams, Guitar 21. Today I'm going to do something that's a departure from the normal YouTube videos I put out of me playing at church or different places, and actually do a review of a couple of gig bags. I'm going to do this first video on the review of a Gator bag, and then I have a mono bag, and then I'll probably make some sort of comparison video to show some highlights, but I'll keep these two videos focused on the bag itself without a lot of comparison. So this is a Gator dual bag. You can see it's of pretty good dimensions. It looks like a stout, padded, thick bag. I play at church primarily, and I've discovered that I never break strings unless I only bring one guitar. I like to bring two guitars. I try to have backups of everything. I'll tell you a little bit about this bag. This one is for the two standard electrics. They advertised it as not being able to handle two Les Paul style guitars with the headstocks that rock back. I have a number of those kinds of guitars. So I went ahead and looked at some reviews and saw that people were saying that they did actually put two of these kinds of guitars into the bag. Just they were careful with it. So I have done that myself a number of times. It does have a good size pad here, but the headstock of the guitar does kind of touch here, and I don't really know how deep this is, so I can imagine the two headstocks kind of touching, and if you did get a serious impact there, it could compromise them. Mitigating that a little bit is the fact that this doesn't actually strap down. Maybe it came with a strap. I don't use it. I don't remember, actually. I've had this bag for about a year and a half. And so it could bounce off it a little bit and not be restricted maybe. But I'm careful. Some people travel with these, like throw them in the back of vans or tour buses or actually fly with them. I think that's crazy. This is not the kind of transport device for that as far as I'm concerned, but that's up to you. Super plush, lined, soft liner on the inside. I like the fact that it unzips all the way out and opens. Easy to get stuff in and out. Also, if you don't have a music stand, it's easy in this kind of scenario to just lay this over to the side. Maybe you prop this up against a drum cage or something and lay the guitar in there to double as a stand without having to have the headstock knocked around by sliding it back into a bag or something that would potentially get it out of tune. It's got a super deep pad, and I'll show some close-ups of some of these parts here to help show the detail. But this is removable, and it's very plush and firm, so it can handle, it's handled a locking peg, whatever you call those things, the stud for a strap lock. Now, I don't leave the strap on it with the more pointed end of the metal strap lock, but the larger, more pronounced strap lock button, it's handled this now for a year and a half on multiple different kind of guitars, no issue. So that's a good thing. I like that. It's also got a durable vinyl, or maybe that's the cloth material, but it's super durable, rubbing against the bridge. And the same up here with the headstock. It's got a few marred spots there, a few marks, but not even frayed to the point of being torn at all after pretty much every Sunday use for a year or so. Zippers have held up. Oh, that's good. One thing I also like about this bag is it has a number of handles. It's got a handle here, which is surprisingly convenient at times when you're trying to move stuff around, to be able to grab it, especially when it's fully loaded, and shift it around. It's got a handle on the back, and then of course it's got the big handle here. Once again, no frays. It's riveted in and sewn in. No issues. It's padded. Seems very durable. I haven't had any issues with this. It's got a rubber bottom across here, and then the kind of alligator texture feet. They also talk about this being able to stand up, which it technically does, but again, fully loaded, I'm not crazy, so I'm not going to leave this thing standing, generally speaking. Every once in a while, I'll stand it for a second while I put something down, but most of the time I'm leaning it back against something. But it is relatively flat and stable. all things considered. Another kind of cool feature is it came with what they call a rain fly, or I'd say a poncho for the thing. So this is just a big, it doesn't cover all the way over it as in putting it inside of a sack. It's more of a cover around it. So you would cover the top outer part, and it's elastic, and there's some Velcro strips to kind of help hold it. So it's not quite the same as putting it in a plastic bag, but I have used it a couple of times in the rain, and it's good. And it's got its own pouch. Of course, if this is not something you care about, you can use this as another zipper pouch. Very convenient. Got a D-hook here in case you need to strap things or hang it for storage. These are comfortable. They're pretty thick and padded. However, I'm not the largest guy on the planet, and I've got this thing cinched up basically as tight as I can get it, and it's a little loose to me. It fits a little loose where it kind of sags off of my back some, but it's not uncomfortable. I'm carrying 2 electric guitars. Even if I have 2 Les Paul style guitars in it, it's not really all that heavy. But this is a little bit tighter, which I'll point out. The mono is a little bit, this is less tight. I'll point out in a little bit that the mono one, I think, is a little bit tighter in how it fits. I don't know if that's good or bad. Totally depends on your body. But for me, it's a touch loose. Got a good pocket here, and I'll take close-up shots of these. You can keep your ear cables in here, in-ear monitors, all sorts of stuff. I got a slide in there, screwdrivers, whatever you need to. That's a good convenient pouch, and it's up away from pressure of everything else. One thing I will say about the Gator bags that makes me super happy is this. There's an actual bottom to it, so it's a squared bottom. The one thing I don't like about the mono is it's a clamshell or a hinge style thing. This actually comes out a little bit. So when you put things in here like my in-ear monitors, they're already kind of tight in a case. You don't have a compression hinge style pressure pushing down on them further. And that's the way the pockets are on this. The big pocket is the same thing. It has a bit of a base here, which helps it not to pinch so much at the bottom. Zipper pouch in the front here, super deep. Guitar strings, cables, screwdrivers, what have you. Big pouch here zips most of the way down the side, so it actually opens well. Comes out pretty far. It's got, again, I'll do close-ups. It's got 3 straps for holding cables. It's got 2 pouches in the door here. One great big lined pouch if you had a small tablet of something you wanted to put in there, or for a larger tablet. It'll fit my Microsoft Surface, which is what I carry sometimes to record direct from my headrush into the USB of this, and that slides down in here. And then I can put my power supply and other things in there. So overall, this is the pockets on this thing are really good. Of course, I wish they were larger. I do wish that this pocket was a little bit taller, but it fits pretty much the maximum configuration of the size of the bag. The second compartment here fully zips out the same way. I won't unzip it all the way, but it's basically the opposite hinged side. Or is it the same? No, it's hinged on the same side. So they're both would open in this manner, if that's important to you. It's a great bag. It's $279, I think is what they retail for, is what I paid for this one. Again, for my purposes, I would never throw this in a touring van or in a van loaded with a lot of other equipment. Not at least with 2 Les Pauls. If I had 2 Strats or a Les Paul and a Strat, that would be fine. But if I had something that wasn't causing, 2 headstocks, with their chance to bump, because it is just a cloth bag. Stout, really solid, but it's a cloth bag. I'd use a hard shell case if I was going to fly or do something like that. But I'm careful. I transport my own stuff in my own vehicle. I treat my gear pretty easily, softly. So this bag works out wonderfully well for that. I have a mono that I'll show in the next video, and the main reason I bought that was because it holds a hollow body. This one does not hold a hollow body. I've tried. It also does not hold a head rush pedal board. It would probably hold, if you did take one guitar, you could put a gig board, an MX5, probably the new Core, different smaller units over here if you wanted absolutely to just do that. I have tried to fit my full old school head rush pedal board in here, and this bag is not, it's not wide enough here right above the upper bout for the pedal board. The pedal board is straighter across here, it doesn't fit. But it holds two guitars wonderfully well, does the job well. I think all these things are a little too expensive at nearly $300, but it has lasted longer than some of the other cheaper gig bags. And I did feel more confident about putting two Gibson style guitars with their headstocks facing each other in this bag than I did in some of the cheaper dual bag options. Those seemed particularly thin. This one at least sounded like it was going to do the job well, and so far has yet to fail me. So I would mark this as a definite rebuy if I needed another dual guitar case. There's a lot of advantages to this one, and I'm a fan. Thanks very much. Please like and subscribe.